Welcome back to one of my videos. Well, if I'm interested or not, leave a click. How do we know when we are close to a wall? Also events, geopolitical stuff which occur in the world, involving in a rapid escalation rate. You even haven't got the time to even think about what happened yesterday. You're really concentrated on today's events. Probably people can be concerned. I'll just say it's just the news. Okay. But when are those signs when the shit really hits the fan? Obviously, respective Western governments are following these international events in evolution, and obviously not to spook the population and not telling us the whole story, aren't they? Our society will just collapse in one day, and we're already entering the Mad Max era already. Probably more frequent chaos in society. And when they start passing special wartime laws, then you know your nation will enter into a war. But they will say it's a preventive measure. A bit like if you seen the film Threads, 1984, okay, which gives you an idea how wartime powers in the United Kingdom work. Well, depending on what country you live in, it will be voted by Parliament, and it will give executive powers just to one person, the Prime Minister, and probably a few members of his cabinet, without every time facing Parliament and discussing, especially when there's a real so-called crisis which could lead to a war with another foreign power. Well, things will be start rationing as measures. They always start promoting civil defence, how to build a nuclear bomb shelter in your basement or canteen, for example. They're telling you what things you need to have to survive for a certain period of time. As we already know, France, Germany, some other European countries, they're already telling their population already about a year ago. That is a sign how close the ruling class is towards a war. Their knowledge, they're a lot more near to events of an international crisis than we know. And obviously, they're probably sending troops down there to begin with, rationing of resources, curfews, wartime economy and stuff like that. And obviously constant propaganda regarding civil defence drills, regarding how to protect yourself from a nuclear attack, for example, and all that stuff. They will say it won't happen, but you never know, it could. They're saying you should be prepared, but you know, by their opinion, or what they say to the general public, it won't happen. But as we know, like the pandemic, they had exceptional powers governing that event, which resulted in the end where everyone knows it was. Make a big thing out of nothing, basically it was. But this war thingy bob, which is boiling up politicians in Europe and in the West, they are drumming up, and they slowly get you into a mentality of war mode, because they will ask you soon to do your part of the war effort as a civilian or as a military personnel drafted. Because there's a lot of talk about the youngsters should be drafted. All of a sudden, after 35 years, most countries had abolished conscription services, like in Italy. But it can be reactivated in any moment, a moment of crisis, through wartime powers. So, and other measures regarding the war itself, preparations, and obviously they won't be sending the most fittest troops straight away. They need time for that. You know, send those so-called sick and useless people, in their opinion, the first. This has always been inside so-called moments. There was a war, First World War, and they sacrificed many thousands of lives for what? To gain a few meters of ground. Also, for the first stages of the war, which they need to prepare, train, and obviously manufacture the machines of death. You can't just jump into it just like that, can you? Because, for example, Europe, in this moment, even if they put all their resources together, they haven't got a fucking fighting chance against Russia or China or any other possible enemy, because they're not ready. They've got obsolete military equipment, dwindling recruits, they're not battle ready. There you are.